Hey Orange Team, what's going on? Mr. Hildebrand here. This is the video lesson for 10/7, okay, October 7th. It is Wednesday. Today we're talking about the Ancient Greek Olympics. We did start out with this video, which is on the Nearpod. And if you're curious what the code is to get to the Nearpod, it's that right there, BPUQH. Or there is a link to the Olympics Nearpod on the Canvas Notes and Links page. We did watch this video. It's really cool. Check it out. To kind of get used to, hey, how did the Ancient Greek Olympics start? We did learn that they were held every 4 years, just like our modern Olympics, right? And that's where our modern Olympics come from. It's from this ancient Greek tradition. In fact, they thought these sports and these Olympics were so important that they would stop everything. Even if they're at war with another city, they would stop to go to the Olympic Games and see the athletes compete. Now, they did invite athletes from lots of different cities and colonies of the Greek cities. So they did have athletes from all over, but they were from Greek cities. Okay, so I know it says here Africa, Italy, Asia Minor. They did come from those places, but they had to be from a city that was started by the Greeks, spoke Greek, believed in the Greek religion. So only Greek people were allowed to compete. Another twist, only men were allowed to watch, and only men were allowed to compete. Women were not allowed to the games. Even in cities like Sparta, where women did play sports, they still weren't allowed at the Olympics. They did compete in some sports that might look similar to us, some different ones maybe too, like chariot racing. They'd hook horses up to carts and race them around a track. They did have boxing, but it was open hands, kind of like slap boxing instead of closed fists. They also had pancratium, which is kind of like wrestling mixed with boxing. So it's kind of similar to like our UFC or MMA, that kind of stuff, our mixed martial arts, some of the fighting or combat sports we have today. And then they had the pentathlon. Whoever won that one was kind of considered the best overall athlete. That's where you're going to get a lot of your track and field events, your running, your jumping, throwing of the discus, which is like heavy metal or stone, frisbee, or hurling a javelin, right? And they also had wrestling in that as well. Now, the Olympic winners, these athletes, they were considered heroes, almost like celebrities like, athletes today. Think of LeBron James or Tom Brady or Messi or somebody like that, right? That's what we think of when we, that's kind of the level of stardom they had. Now, obviously, we have TV and internet. They didn't have that, but everybody would have known their names. They were recording them in the history books. The first one happened almost 3,000 years ago. Now, folks, after that, I did show you guys what we were up to today. So if you go to the Canvas page, click on Course Modules, and you go to Week 7 Assignments. The first thing we did in class is if you're not done your Greek Mythology Yearbook yet, make sure you finish that. And if you're not sure how to do that, check out that video from yesterday. That'll help you out. Okay. But what I want you to do today is click on the Olympic Committee Appeal. So you click on it, it'll open up. It should work. We had some kinks in my core class today, but I think we got it all worked out. It should pop up, and it's basically a direction sheet. Okay, so you're going to have to write. It's going to require some writing. You can do your writing on email, on paper, and just hand it to me, or take a picture and send it to me, or you can do Google Docs. However you want to write is fine. But we're pretending that you traveled back in time to ancient Greece, and that you're going to meet with the Ancient Greek Olympic Committee regarding changes that you want to see happen in the Olympic Games. Below are some of the issues that the committee is debating. Now, there's 4 issues on there. You only need to choose 2. Only choose 2. That's the ones you're going to write about. Now, the issues include, and this is something that you'll see in the video, but we didn't talk about yet in this lesson, is that the athletes in ancient Greece, it was actually customary in a lot of the sports that they would compete without clothes. They thought the clothes got in the way, slowed them down, and so they would compete naked. So that's one of the issues that you could talk about. Also, the only sports they had were the boxing, the chariot racing, the long jump, javelin, discus, running, wrestling. So they're kind of limited in their sports. They didn't have as many as we do now. So you can talk about that. Only Greek citizens were allowed to compete, so only people from Greek cities. So you could talk to them about maybe opening it up, right, to people from all over the world, like our modern Olympics. And then only men were allowed to compete or watch. So maybe you want to talk about that issue, right? Your appeal has to be 2 paragraphs, 1 paragraph per issue, and a paragraph is about 4 sentences. So we're looking at 8 total sentences. Like I said, you can email it to me, share it with me on Google Docs, any way you want to do it. It's great. If you have questions about this, just send me an email. We worked on it a little bit today in class, as well as our Greek mythology yearbooks. We're still trying to finish that up. And then tomorrow in class, we're going to be working on them as well. So you're going to have a lot of class time tomorrow. So if you don't get it all done today, don't worry. You're going to have time in class tomorrow to work on it. All right, folks, if you have questions, send me an email. I'll see you tomorrow.